Whenever you hear the word soup, what is the first thing that pops into your mind? Tomato soup, especially if you are a veggie. Tomato soup is perfect for any season of the year. How do you make the best tomato soup ever? Are you sick of watching the same old dull tomato soup presentations? Are you ready? Let's team up and stir up some delicious tomato soup together. Don't be afraid if you are new to cooking and have never made soup before. This video is for you. I will walk you through every step, from picking the best tomatoes to serving the soup in an aesthetically pleasing manner. Tomato soup comes in a variety of flavors, including basic, creamy, roasted, and more. Which one do you prefer? You may prepare your favorite tomato soup after following this video to the very end. Feel free to add a few small changes here and there, add a personal touch to it, and enjoy the soup in a way that makes you smile. Stay tuned until the end of the video, where I'll reveal my top secret ingredient that will take your tomato soup to a whole new level of taste. Trust me, you won't want to miss this mouth-watering surprise. Tomato soup showcases the greatest qualities of fresh, ripe tomatoes with its sweet, tart flavor. It is a perfect cold weather delicacy that warms the soul, but don't limit yourself from making it year-round. Nothing is actually more soothing than a steaming bowl of tomato soup. I'm going to show you how to make it. The best part of this recipe is that it doesn't take much time to prepare. Get your soup spoons ready. Which is better for soup, fresh tomatoes or canned tomatoes? Some prefer fresh tomatoes, while others use canned tomatoes. Using canned tomatoes is definitely more convenient, but they cannot nearly compete with fresh tomatoes. So skip the can and head straight for the fresh tomatoes. First things first, let's gather our fresh and flavorful ingredients. We'll need really ripe tomatoes, aromatic onions, fragrant garlic, a dash of herbs, and a hint of spices. It is always preferable to have all the ingredients prepped, cut, and ready to use. How do you prepare tomatoes for cooking? After selecting the firm, glossy, deep red tomatoes, wash them with cold water. We will begin by blanching our tomatoes to get that burst of tomato sweetness. The majority of tomato soup or sauce recipes demand this easy method to prevent the tomatoes from turning to mush. In order to blanch tomatoes, each tomato needs just to have the bottom cut out, a quick boil, and then a transfer to an ice bath. It is a method that makes peeling a breeze. You may make the soup with either butter or olive oil. Here, I am using both since I enjoy the flavor of butter in soup and the health benefits of olive oil and how well it pairs with tomatoes. Heat the Dutch oven and add butter and olive oil. The butter should be melted over medium heat. Now it's time to add some amazing seasonings to our soup. Add diced onions, dried basil, pepper flakes, and minced garlic, and let them sizzle until they turn golden and release their tempting aroma. Maintain a low flame, giving it a nice sauté. You might be wondering why we emphasize the importance of a low flame. Well, I will give you a tip that will help you improve your culinary skills. There are more useful tips throughout the videos, so do not skip. Sautéing at low heat works wonders for enhancing the flavors. It may require a bit of patience, but trust me, the end result will be worth it. Patience, my friend, is a key quality to mastering the art of cooking. Let us turn our attention to the magical harmony between basil and tomato by the time the onions become translucent. Tomato-based dishes always seem to demand the presence of basil because it will enhance the flavor. It is a well-kept secret in the culinary world that basil and tomato-based recipes go together like magic. Learn the craft of cutting if you are using fresh basil that you picked straight from your garden. A bunch of vibrant basil leaves are transformed into a perfectly sliced work of art using this unique technique. These fresh basil leaves should be stacked atop one another and then carefully rolled into a log. Slice through the rolled basil with precision to reveal thin, delicate pieces that will give your soup an aromatic symphony of flavors. You can garnish your tomato soup with freshly plucked basil leaves for an additional touch of visual appeal. How can we serve the tomato soup in a mouth-watering way? Discover the mistakes that can dampen your dining experience. We'll sprinkle curious clues throughout the video that show you how to serve this classic dish in different and delectable ways. Once our aromatics are nicely sautéed, stir in thinly cut carrots, blanched tomatoes, vegetable stock, sugar, and salt. Now, let's add some excitement to the mix. If you're feeling a bit adventurous, you could even replace the vegetable stock with chicken stock to give your soup a non-veg twist. Who says tomato soup can't have a little meaty mischief? So go ahead, unleash your culinary creativity. Give it a good stir and let the ingredients mix together. Cook uncovered over medium heat. Let those stubborn vegetables soften in about 8 to 10 minutes. A good soup requires gradual flavor development. Most soup recipes ask for aromatic vegetables, which are those that are first sautéed in oil or butter to create flavor, such as onion, garlic, celery, and carrots. Be sure they're cooked long enough to be softened and release their flavor before moving on to the next step. Can you guess what makes a soup truly exceptional? It is neither the quantity of substances nor their number. It's all about that gradual flavor development, which requires patience. Trust me, this attention to detail will take your soup from good to absolutely extraordinary. Now, reduce the heat even further, uncovered, to let flavors blend for 20 to 25 minutes. Then, turn off the heat. You may add an easy but delicious touch to this soup recipe by roasting the tomato and garlic for seriously intense flavor. Remove the Dutch oven from the heat. Puree the soup in batches using a blender until it reaches a velvety smooth texture. Put the Dutch oven back on the stove and don't forget to give it an occasional stir. In the meantime, combine water and cornstarch to make a slurry. Check to make sure there are no lumps. When the tomato soup reaches a boil, reduce the heat to a simmer and add the slurry gradually while stirring constantly. This should be thoroughly boiled until the tomato soup thickens and the raw flavor of the flour disappears. Never put the soup on a high heat before adding the slurry. Refrain from bringing it to a rolling boil if at all possible. You can ensure a perfect balance of texture and taste by following this key guideline. Now comes the moment of transformation. If preferred, add heavy cream gradually while stirring constantly. Return to the stove to finish heating. A quick tip for a creamy addition. Warm the cream up first before adding it to your soup. This simple tip prevents curdling and guarantees a smooth and velvety texture. When it comes to garnishing, here's where your creativity shines. Garnish with fresh basil and sprinkle with Parmesan cheese. A handful of croutons for that perfect finishing touch. Serve the soup warm. Ladle into bowls and serve with a drizzle of olive oil. Rest assured, I will keep my word and unveil the secret ingredient that will elevate your recipes to heavenly delights. The key to culinary magic is none other than love itself. When preparing anything, adding this extraordinary ingredient will make the dish heavenly. However, a word of caution. When it comes to other ingredients, precise measurement is crucial, as adding them carelessly can result in disastrous outcomes. But fear not, for the more you incorporate this beautiful ingredient called love, the more exquisite your final dish will become. So sprinkle it generously, and watch as your soup transforms into a savory symphony that will delight the taste buds and the heart. As you can see, our tomato soup is rich, creamy, and bursting with brightness. A grilled cheese sandwich is the ultimate sidekick to this tomato soup. They are just a match made in heaven. But before we wrap up, let's have a taste and savor the fruits of our labor. I am having a spoonful. Absolutely divine, creamy and tangy. With each spoonful, your taste buds will dance with delight. Once you experience its taste, it will leave you craving for more. The stage is set. The recipe is in your hands. So go forth and create magic. Whom did you enjoy this delicious tomato soup with? Your dear friends? Your loving family? Or did you simply enjoy it in your own company? If you enjoy tried and true recipes, be sure to subscribe to our channel if you have not already. Also, if you want to watch our next video where we reveal some fascinating facts about where tomatoes come from, click on the link on the screen. Thanks for joining me today. Keep in mind that every dish can be made special with a little bit of passion and the right ingredients. See you soon.